Welcome to Point Blank. This is your host, Panama Crypto. Today, our guest is Zack, probably one of the best writers in crypto. Until yesterday, he was writing for Coindesk. Welcome, Zack. It's amazing to have you on Point Blank, my man.
Thanks for having me on, Panama. I'm excited to be here. We tried to have this chat for a little while, and things came up, but I'm pumped that we finally got it to happen.
Yeah, man, been hunting you down like a mad dog.
Well, I'm excited.
So let's kick it off. So what have you been up to lately, Zack, in and out of crypto?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, a lot of the same stuff as everyone else in this space. It's been a crazy, I guess, year or so now. Ever since last March when we had that crazy market crash, and pretty much ever since then, it's been a full on turbo bull market. And I've been trying to keep up. So like you said, I've been writing for Coindesk for a bit here, but just yesterday actually left that position and am now enjoying a little bit of vacation before I start something new. It's crazy. Like this market is this bull run is clearly like no other we've had before. In terms of the pace of new investors from institutional and retail pools, the pace of growth in like protocol level development and mining and other sectors in the space. It's ridiculous and it's a ton of fun. So I've just been trying to keep up with it all.
What were you doing before crypto and Coindesk?
Yeah, so Coindesk is, I guess, the third sort of spot I've landed in crypto. I mean, everyone gives their background story and it can get a little boring, but like to make mine super short, I sort of found Bitcoin in college thanks to a computer science roommate who said I would probably find it interesting. I was studying econ and finance and politics at the time. And then after college, I went to work in DC. I was doing some tax policy and research work there, and a little bit of legal work. And then I wanted to switch to crypto, so I went up to New York and joined Messari, which is sort of like a generalist crypto data company, building some cool products. And I helped them build out their research team there. So I was their first analyst hire, and now they have sort of like a team of I've actually lost count, maybe like 6 or 8 analysts up there, and then sort of like dozens of other freelance and part-time community analysts. So they're building some cool stuff on the technical and research side. After Messari, I hopped over to Blockstream, sort of like a stalwart Bitcoin tech company, and was doing some technical writing for them on a couple of their projects, the Liquid network and their green wallet product, which was a lot of fun. And then I meandered over to Coindesk, where for like the past year or so, I've just been writing about mining and like general Bitcoin market structure as it's changing and developing, and just sort of tracking this bull market. So it's been a ton of fun, and that's sort of what my journey's looked like. I mean, some people sort of think that maybe I've hopped around a little bit too much in terms of from Messari to Blockstream to Coindesk and now sort of to where I'm headed next. But I wouldn't change anything I've done. It's been like the pace of the space changes so quickly and happens so fast. And like every day I'm just like humbled by the opportunities I've been given and the people I've met and the things I've been able to do. Like I wouldn't want to work anywhere else. This space is the best place to be, in my opinion, and I love it.
How was it to be working with Adam and Sam from Blockstream?
Yeah, I love those guys. I know on Twitter they can be pretty polarizing, but the funny well, actually, they're pretty similar in real life to how they are on Twitter. But also, like, people have to remember on Twitter, everyone sort of like plays it up for the meme value, you know, and how everyone talks and interacts on Twitter isn't exactly how they are in real life. But I think they have very clear ideas for what they want to and are Blockstream. Blockstream obviously has just like an incredible pool of talent on sort of like content and tech and markets things across the board of all their different teams. And they've been around for a very long time in this space. So it's cool to see what they're building. It's cool to see all the talent they have. And I had a lot of fun working with them.
Nice. Did they manage to convert you to fully a maximalist?
Yeah, good question. So they didn't really have to convert me, I guess, is the easy answer. Like I've always sort of been like at the end of the day, Bitcoin is all like ultimately that I care about. And so that like I'll like troll people who like love other coins or protocols or whatever, but ultimately at the end of the day, I don't like hate them or think they're like evil for building like stupid projects or what people say are stupid projects. Not that I'm calling all of them stupid. I'm just saying like I don't like build whatever you want. I don't really care. Like this is what I care about. Like Bitcoin is what I care about at the end of the day. And like on the side, like there are a very select few other projects that I think are interesting. And obviously everyone wants to make money in this space, but like Bitcoin is like sort of financially and ideologically like what I care about at the end of the day. So I think I align with like, I'd say 80 to 90% of what those guys think at a high level. And I think just in person and online and for the time we work together, we just get along really well. So I'm hesitant to like, I'm not really hesitant. Like, I don't care. I am a maximalist, but I just don't really like advertise it a ton. Although people probably can pick it up from the things I tweet. That's just like all I care about at the end of the day. So is Bitcoin.
Cool. You just mentioned that you find some projects interesting. Which are there?
Yeah. So I'm generally a huge fan of anything working on privacy. I'm skeptical of whether or not like privacy coins will ever become like hugely successful financial assets, but obviously there's a need for them in the market because people are using them and buying and selling and transacting in them. But will I sort of like exchange a ton of my Bitcoin to just hold privacy coins? No, not really. I think there's cool token-less privacy protocols also that sort of try to meet that same need. But you can't like at some level, if it's like an honest team building an honest project and there's a token in it, you can't just like hate it completely at the end of the day because like anything that sort of moves the needle towards better privacy is good at the end of the day in my book. So privacy for one thing. I think some of, and it's like I'm hesitant to mention this because there's just a lot of insanity around this right now. But mining is sort of a big passion of mine, and where I'm going to like sort of spend the entirety of my work focusing on for the next couple of years. And there's a bunch of pretty cool tokens and things that are ideas and projects that have launched and whatnot that are trying to sort of like increase the financialization of mining. So like hash rate tokens. Hash rate tokens are sort of, I'm excited by them, and a lot of them are sort of it's very early days for these types of tokens, but they're attempting to increase the financialization of the mining space. So giving traders and other market participants the ability to interact in a new ways with mining essentially. And we've seen some of this before with like hash rate or difficulty based derivative markets. FTX does some of this, and so have other sort of marketplaces, and tokens tied to the Bitcoin or other proof of work networks. Hash rate is sort of another iteration of this. And whether like any of the hash rate tokens that exist right now will last like 2 to 3 or 5 years in the future is an open question. But I think all of the ideas and some of the projects that are being tested and launched and tossed around are valuable. And I definitely think like the hash rate token sector of the crypto asset space is important to watch, at least, even if you don't really buy into any of the tokens that exist right now. So yeah, I think like privacy and sort of like trying to tokenize some aspects of the mining space definitely piqued my interest. Although, like, I guess like for disclosure purposes, I don't really have any investments in those spaces, or any like worth noting really. Just I definitely keep tabs on what they're doing.
Cool. As an example of hash rate tokens, you mean like Blockstream mining node of Blockstream?
Yeah. So Blockstream mining node is the most recent example, and then we've also seen something like this from Poolin, big mining pool. We've seen Binance launch something similar as well. Binance obviously also has a mining pool, and there's 2 or 3 others, I believe, that have fully launched, and a handful more that are sort of still in development that haven't launched or become public yet. So definitely a decent amount of activity from some big companies in the space. I think it's something interesting to watch.
Sweet. So talking about your future projects, are there any projects you want to talk us about?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I'll tell you like where I'm going next. I haven't announced it yet on Twitter, but I'm joining the Compass mining team. They're a mining startup that's Tom Heller, co-founder of Compass, likes to describe it as sort of the Airbnb for mining. So essentially what Compass does is carves out a marketplace where they match people who don't have obviously tens of millions of dollars to build large industrial scale mining facilities, but still want exposure to mining. We match those customers with these large industrial scale mining facilities who have excess capacity and could and would want to bring on like anywhere from a couple hundred to several thousand new ASICs and plug them into their facility. Compass sort of has built a 2-way market to match those retail miners with large facilities with that excess capacity, and it serves as a gateway or maybe a roadway to people getting exposure at like smaller than full-blown industrial scale mining very easily and simply. And Compass handles all of the movement of machines and location of facilities and all this stuff. And our customers just go online and select sort of how many and what machines they want, facilities they want them to be sent to, and obviously a small fee, and it's done as far as they're concerned. So super cool business in the mining space, I think, because like originally, obviously, anyone could mine very easily for the first couple of years in crypto, in Bitcoin. And then sort of the introduction of ASICs in the early 2010s sort of changed the game significantly ever since. And now it's a very professionalized industrial scale sort of venture to start mining. Compass wants to allow people without those sort of large scale capital resources available to still mine, and like they've been crushing it. So I'm excited to join. Ton of talent on that team, and I'll start there in about a week or so. But yeah, it's I mean, I don't mind shilling it a little bit. Like if you want to mine, definitely check out Compass. If you're not trying to spend like $20 million buying ASICs and building a facility. So it's a super cool company.
Will you guys also have cloud mining?
Yeah. So no, it's Compass sort of serves as like cloud mining without really the cloud. So it's actually like real machines that we're handling and moving between different facilities that our customers select and so forth. No cloud mining really, but just actual movement of machines, and it's pretty cool.
Sweet. Sounds pretty exciting for you, man.
Yeah, I'm pumped to join. They've got some talent from Poolin, from F2 Pool. Whit Gibbs, the CEO, has been around for a bit. Super great, sharp guy. I'm pumped to join them. It's honestly a real privilege. So I'm excited.
Sweet. Jumping to the next question here. This episode is brought to you by PrimeXBT, the exchange that makes possible to trade with leverage on legacy markets from a single Bitcoin-based account. Is DeFi ready for mainstream?
Ooh, tough question. So here, like I've put some fiery opinions on Twitter about DeFi, and sort of here's where I'm at with all of that. Like you can't not believe in some of the ideas behind DeFi, like censorship resistant, completely decentralized, like exchange or marketplaces or asset ownership. Like anyone who sort of believes in the libertarian ethos of Bitcoin, like generally, if they're being intellectually honest, thinks those are good ideas. The problems for some people come with like the actual like functioning of the protocol and how scalable they are now or how likely they are to scale in the future and things like that. But at an ideological level, like, yeah, obviously, sure, I believe in lots of the things that DeFi wants to build and is trying to build. But sort of, is it ready for mainstream? And if we're sort of pinning all of our DeFi hopes and dreams on Ethereum, like I'm still significantly skeptical. And the reason why is just because of sort of where the network is right now in terms of how much use it can handle, how scalable it is, and sort of what types of users are excluded when the DeFi use on Ethereum really starts getting ratcheted up. We've seen this like a couple times now, last summer and sort of through the fall and early this year. We've seen like DeFi use on Ethereum and other sort of related blockchains trying to compete with Ethereum in different ways, really ratchet up, fees soar, and like smaller users are just priced out basically because of fees. And like obviously everyone in Ethereum is aware of this and they're working on different solutions to sort of address this. But also at the same time, like we're at the height, we're not at the height, but we're like the bull run is sort of in full force here. And if you want sort of Ethereum to keep up in terms of attracting users and selling these DeFi hopes and dreams to people, they need to be able to sort of use your protocol. And right now, when DeFi gets hot, small users get priced out of DeFi on Ethereum, and like that just isn't a winning scenario for me. So I'm super bullish on lots of ideas in Ethereum, less so bullish on some of like how the protocols are functioning right now. But I know some of the protocols like Ethereum that are having scalability issues also have tons of developers working on building solutions to that. And also at the same time, there are tons of protocols like anything from like your Trons to your Solana trying to fill those needs in the markets by offering super cheap, fast protocols that also interact with DeFi. So like I don't write off 100% of DeFi as like a joke and a scam. I also really am not like a DeFi maximalist at the current stage right now. So I guess like my answer is no, it's not ready for mainstream. There's still like a ton of work to be done. But like at an ideological level, yeah, of course, 100%. I support a lot of what these people are building or trying to build.
I think I'm on the same page as you, but I think projects like Polkadot, Kusama, Solana will take the lead on DeFi once people see that fees are much cheaper there than on Ethereum. Unless Ethereum 2.0 launches sometime this year, I don't see it ready for mainstream, because once it hit that threshold of big amount of users, much more than we are seeing currently, network is gonna collapse. Ethereum network.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think Ethereum and Bitcoin are in completely different situations, and always have been and always will be. Like Bitcoin obviously had some severe scaling issues last bull run, and so you saw things like Bitcoin Cash or the rebrand to Nano and these other like lower fee coins try and eat Bitcoin's market share. But Bitcoin is like this digital gold asset with a significant sort of like pseudo first mover advantage, and you can't really like second movers are at a severe disadvantage there. Whereas in my view with Ethereum, it's like a global computing platform, and if there's like technical problems or limitations with it, like a new better computing platform can be developed and compete and eat its market share to a much more significant degree. So I think Bitcoin and Bitcoin competitors, that there's like a significant first mover advantage there. But with Ethereum and Ethereum competitors, I think there's like the advantage there is with second movers who are trying to take all of the long, arduous, expensive research and development that built Ethereum, just sort of take all of that and then improve on it very quickly and cheaply with a better protocol. And we've seen that, like you said, with Polkadot and Solana and others. I mean, even if like Tron's pretty much a joke in the space, but like Tether use on Tron is like almost ready to top Ethereum. And like, I mean, in my view, that's pretty embarrassing for Ethereum. Like Ethereum is supposed to be the fast, cheap, like bedrock DeFi protocol. And here we have Tron just like stealing a ton of the Tether use. Like what's Ethereum going to do there? Losing that to Tron is kind of embarrassing.
Changing a bit of subjects here, in the same realm of Ethereum, what is your take on NFTs?
Oh man, everybody loves NFTs or hates them. I think, so Ari Paul from Block Tower, I really appreciate a bunch of his content because he makes me question, or at least like pause when I think I have like strong opinions about NFTs. So if you're listening to this, Ari, thank you. But I think most people would agree with me when I say like 90% of all the NFT stuff right now is just like, it's crap. Like it's just a joke. You see stuff like Taco Bell and toilet paper companies launching NFTs, and it's just like, it's very like, there's a lot of froth. Not to necessarily call a top on the NFT market right now, but it's just getting a little crazy. Having said that though, I think there's maybe like 0.5% of something in NFTs that like is worthwhile. And I don't have like super strong or very well-formed opinions about NFTs just yet, but like NFTs that are like one of ones, and clear, like obviously clear digital ownership of that one of one tokenized piece of art, like makes sense to me. Now, when you're like printing tons of copies of NFTs, even if they have like the same digital signature access and like all these random brands are minting NFTs, none of that really makes sense to me. But if you want like a super rare one of one piece of digital art, I mean, I think there's probably value there. And at the end of the day, something only has value because people give it value. And obviously people are giving value to some of these NFTs. So like, who am I to say that's dumb? There's no value there. That's the same way Bitcoin was bootstrapped. People thought it had value and said it had value. So now it has value. And a lot of the coins that came after Bitcoin are obviously stupid. But some of these NFTs like have value because people say they have value. And on some level, the super rarity of them like makes sense for why they might actually be valuable. But also a lot of stuff that is in the NFT space right now is stupid. So yeah, that's pretty much generally how I think about it.
What do you think about the Beeple's piece of NFT that sold for $69 million?
It's crazy. And like, in my opinion, I think like kind of cool at the same time. If you watch the guy on interviews, like I'm a huge fan of that guy, and I would like love to get beers with him sometime. Like, good for him making a shitload of money. Good for him. Like, he's obviously a talented digital artist. Like, there's no denying that. Would I pay like almost 70 million for that piece of art? No. But obviously somebody did. And so like, it's worth 70 million, like at like the market value for what it was just sold at. So I think it's crazy. I think it's kind of cool. And I honestly like the guy a lot, the artist People a lot, just from what I've seen from him on interviews and stuff. He's very real and authentic. And he's just like, this is insane. Like, I agree, it's insane. I'm just trying to create art. And if people want to pay this much for it, like, sure, I'll take their money. So I love him.
What about the tweet NFTs?
Yeah, that is where it gets a little crazy. I think like right now, my thought is that's sort of in the realm of like crazy stuff that probably won't last in NFTs. Now, if we like come back to this episode in like a year and everyone's buying and selling tweet NFTs, like sure, I'll eat my hat or whatever. But I would never like buy or sell tweets, really. I don't really get that. But maybe there's something there. I don't know. I think it's a little crazy.
I think people in this space has too much money, especially in crypto assets, and they're already millionaires and billionaires, and they can afford to spend $2 million in Jack's tweet, and
Oh
also
yeah,
69
definitely.
million for people's NFT. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty
absolutely.
sure the people that bought those NFTs are crypto people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's obviously a ton of money sloshing around in crypto, especially after this year's bull run. So like the craziness of some of the prices on these NFT art pieces like isn't super surprising, but I'm not super sure on how much of it will last.
Exactly. We probably won't see liquidity on those NFTs after a few
Yeah.
weeks from now.
Yeah.
And to the question that I'm most interested in, that to get your answer, Bitcoin energy consumption. Is it really detrimental to the environment in your opinion?
Oh yeah. So big question. And so I'll give you like a very short answer and then a little bit of a longer answer. My short answer is no, it's not. And my little bit of a longer answer is it's not. And people like I think more people would agree with me that it's not if they sort of understood the dynamics of mining energy consumption for Bitcoin. Um, there's a little bit of a wide range of estimates, but anywhere between like 40% to 70% of Bitcoin energy is sourced from renewable energy, and that's even 30%, like a third of Bitcoin mining from renewable energy. Like that's a significant chunk. Then on top of that, you have an increasingly large amount of Bitcoin miners trying to use mining to limit pollution from fossil fuel energy. And they do this through going to oil and gas sites and converting oil and gas that would be otherwise, or natural gas that would be otherwise flared, just sort of directly into the atmosphere, and harnessing that through combustion engines to mine Bitcoin. And the gas that's released from those engines is significantly less detrimental to the environment. So you have Bitcoin mining, significant chunk of it sourced from renewables. On top of that, another portion of it sort of is actively limiting pollution from fossil fuels. And then third, the rest of it, let's just assume all the rest of Bitcoin energy just comes from dirty like gas and coal, and it's just like as dirty as it possibly can be. It's still a useful industry that people assign value to, and they like it's you can't just say this is wasteful when someone clearly wants it and is paying for it. Like maybe there are some controversial externalities from this activity, but someone is clearly willing to commit resources to it, and some third party saying there's waste there is just illogical. And that's sort of based on my sort of Austrian economic philosophy of subjective value, where just because someone says it has value means it has value. But also at the end of the day, Bitcoin mining revolutionizes that sort of dirty fossil fuel energy also by allowing these miners to access energy stranded or unutilized all around the world, activating like energy capital resources that would otherwise just be sitting there dormant and unused for who knows how long. So at the end of the day, yes, Bitcoin mining is like indisputably powered by fossil fuels. A large chunk also powered completely by renewables, and that chunk is growing. Part of the fossil fuel powered Bitcoin mining energy consumption portion actually limits the pollution, and it revolutionizes the energy industry in general. So at the end of the day, like if you weigh all of those things, Bitcoin is an enormous good for the environment and the energy industry in general. And like you, when you argue about controversial things like this, you always have to put yourself in the other person's shoes or their state of mind to try and understand where they're coming from. But with people who think like mining is going to kill the planet, I honestly cannot understand like their thought process, because the facts are so clear and obvious, and that interpretation blows certain truths way out of proportion and completely misrepresents the state of mining now. So I'll stop rambling, but no, it's not a negative for the environment just because of how much energy and what types of energy Bitcoin mining actually use and what Bitcoin mining in general does for the energy industry. It's a huge net good.
Top alpha right there. What impact do you believe the Coinbase IPO will have?
Oh yeah, I still think we underestimate the effect of the Coinbase IPO. I think they definitely won't be the last crypto exchange to go public. I mean, even FTX has said they're considering it. Kraken has said they're considering it, or even like well on their way to going public or something like that. I just think it's a sign of where we are in this stage of the crypto space. Like mainstream attention is here, mainstream money, legacy money is here, and Coinbase publicly trading on equity markets will give us two things, like constant, lasting traditional finance attention into the crypto space, and cool insights into sort of how one of these stalwart crypto exchanges actually function, which could allow its competitors to sort of improve and significantly change their business models and improve the exchange space in general. So I think it'll have like wide-reaching effects on the space, and not just in terms of the price of Bitcoin.
So this year is even more bullish than we think so?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're still underestimating it. I think it's massively bullish.
And off to the last question, Zach. Where do you see the next best asymmetric investment in crypto?
Ooh, good question. So that's tricky because I don't really feel comfortable shilling things, but I obviously think like Bitcoin is still like a significantly asymmetric bet or investment, but also you have to look at like in bull runs who benefits like the most, and it's clearly exchanges. And so like something that's very interesting to me, and I don't really own any at all yet, but and I don't know if I ever will, but like you can't argue with the fact that there is a pretty attractive value proposition from like exchanges and their tokens being like a significantly higher beta play during bull runs, more so in my opinion, relatively uneducated opinion, but still in my opinion, than other altcoins. So yeah, it just Bitcoin at the end of the day, I think is still the best investment. And if you want to gamble on other altcoins, I mean, take your pick and try and have a good thesis, I guess, but there's lots of options out there, obviously.
And with that, we end our episode. I'm very happy to have hosted Zach on Point Blank. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Sweet. Can you tell us where we can find you?
Yeah, for sure. So just my name, Zack Voell on Twitter. Also the same handle on Telegram. And all my DMs are open. So yeah, if you want to chat, just drop me a note.
Thanks for listening. Until next time. Peace. This episode was brought to you by PrimeXBT, the exchange where you can trade without KYC on legacy markets with your Bitcoin. You can trade commodities like gold, silver, oil, even indexes and forex. Join now and get a 50% bonus on top of your deposit for trading at u.primexbt.com/Panama.